a state great? There are many possible answers to that question, but one aspect that has been topical recently in Hong Kong is freedom from corruption. Today, I'm going to discuss the ways we've addressed the issue here, the cases that still impact us, and explain why any of us should even care. In the 1960s, Hong Kong saw massive growth in population and manufacturing, and the government wasn't able to meet the financial needs of the people. So, getting money from dubious sources was a necessary evil. This all changed with the founding of the Independent Commission Against Corruption. It had three main objectives: investigating corruption, recommending legal changes, and educating the public on this issue. And so far, they've done a great job at protecting the people from corruption and making it clear that previously common crimes are no longer acceptable. However, even the ICAC hasn't been able to stop high-profile corruption cases. Several property tycoons and government figures, including most recently Donald Tsang, our former chief executive, have been accused of taking and giving bribes. Even Timothy Tong, Hong Kong's former anti-corruption commissioner, has been accused of lavishly spending money on mainland officials. And even if those cases sometimes result in the person being clear, government officials are supposed to be above reproach and free from negative influence. How are we supposed to trust our public officials to represent the interests of the people if their influence can be bought or brokered? And that is why we should care. At first glance, corruption may just seem like rich people misusing funds to gain even greater power than they already have. But the problem is that anyone, no matter how much or little power they have, can use money or other means to create spheres of influence that manipulate the way payments and the law apply to them. And from clean government officials to the person on the street, it is fundamental that everyone has the same basic equality under the law. So while it is excellent that Hong Kong is freer from corruption than average, this issue should be addressed. If we want our political rights to be secure, it is paramount that we do whatever we can to make Hong Kong a safe place where everyone can have the same equality under our basic law. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bray. Very, very good. Why we care? You got me to thinking here. There's sort of an underlying assumption in what we're doing here today that corruption is bad. So I have sort of a two-part question. What's bad about corruption? Why do we think it's bad? I mean, I get this about we want honest government officials, a healthy government, but can't an economy still be effective even if there is corruption?
Thank you for your question. I think fundamentally, freedom in society and under our laws is one of the most important aspects of any country. Even if an economy and even if a country is able to function, what is the point if its citizens can be abused and be treated unfairly under the law? The reason we have laws in society is to be able to, so that everyone has the same expectations under a justice system. And the problem with corruption is, as I stated earlier, that people can use money or other means to manipulate how that applies to them. So even if a country has a successful and stable economy, the trouble is that corruption not only can infringe on that, but can also infringe on people's rights. And that is why I think freedom from corruption is very important. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask your opinion on learning techniques or modern learning techniques. Can e-learning, like the use of video lectures, ever replace traditional classroom learning?
Thank you for your question. I think that in many ways, technology has impacted the way we learn. Instead of going to the library, we now access the internet to find information. And it is excellent that this occurs because we can get new information in new sources. And there has recently been a movement about open education and being able to learn in a context outside the classroom. But on the other hand, I still think that personal interaction should be an area in learning because it encourages open discussion and debate and encourages things like public speaking skills and being being able to interact with people as opposed to just being through a screen. So while I think that e-learning is excellent in bringing more learning resources to those who may not be as privileged or educated, I do think that it is important that a human personal component is also there to give people the passion that inspires them to continue learning throughout their lives. Thank you.